So 2015 to 2023, we're talking about 8 years, right? And the baby girl grew into, a young girl, schoolgirl, and that's little Clear. And during that 8 years, little Clear was my center of attention every day. When she was an infant, I connected so well with her. And she viewed me as a family member. She called me auntie, okay, 阿姨 in Chinese. And ever since when she was a little girl, mom and dad were always busy working. Grandma, grandpa had no idea about this baby's true heart. And when she cries, screaming, grandma, grandpa just totally had no clue about what is the cause. I was always the one, always know little Clear's meaning of screaming, crying, panicking, stressful. And I always was there to comfort her. I was the one that hold her little hand, played with her, walked in the neighborhood, told her stories, painted lots and lots of beautiful pictures together with her. And so in every regard, in little Clear's heart, I am her favorite best friend in this child's world, okay? So that is the background, and I spend my time in that house, wholeheartedly treat everybody in that house like my family member. And due to my good work, this family started to benefit greatly. One important person that had biggest change in that house is a grandma. When I first entered the house, grandma was the biggest troublemaker in the house because she was always very bad-tempered, hot-tempered. And she would beat up her daughter, slap her face. And she also would beat up her husband. And she would also curse and beat up her son-in-law, right? And so she also go to gambling place, gamble all the time. And so I was the one that always kindly teach her not to do wrong things to the family members. And I became her friend. We became really good friend, right? She also showed me how to make, delicious Chinese traditional food. We always exchange food remedies. Okay, so this is basically a normal, good heart setting. Should be everything goes so well, right? My presence, every family member sees the value of it. And they thought, wow, Dr. Lotus is so great and she can be a great teacher for the children. And they even encouraged me to take another 5 students in the house, so that the children will be able to be part of the study group, right? This is all nicely happening in the house. And it became so harmonious and so good, reaching the year of 2019. That's a pre-COVID time, okay? The problem behind, hidden, was always one problem, is Dr. Jianxin Bao. Now, Dr. Jianxin Bao, he first pretended that he's in charge of that room because he doesn't send the donation money to the whole elephant. He sent the money directly to the Ren, little Clear's daddy, right? And with doing that, he created a lot of misunderstandings about who I am. And grandma particularly was very suspicious of my role. He thought that Dr. Jianxin Bao was my boyfriend or something, because our last name is different. So a lady who wanted a man to pay for the rent, she was having big trouble with that. And in any case, most likely Dr. Jianxin Bao always spoke things negatively, most seriously, is that he always told the landlord that his sister is mentally ill. Okay. When he keep on doing that, the whole house, the negativity gradually started to, be more. In any case, because of my good deeds, it didn't really work. Eventually, the Ren cut out Dr. Jian Xinbao completely, right? But in any case, because the rental of the place was initiated by Dr. Jian Xinbao, the first deposit was by Dr. Jian Xinbao. The rent payment was initially directly deposited by Dr. Jian Xinbao into the Ren's bank account. So this house had no legal documents about official sign into the Whole Elephant Institute. Only after about half years later, when I want to do tax report for the Whole Elephant Institute, I asked the Ren to provide a receipt of the donation. Then at the time, we gradually rectified it and considered to be Dr. Jian Xinbao donating to the Whole Elephant Institute. The Whole Elephant Institute pay for the rent, right? That basically is the true relationship of myself with that house. I am the president of the Whole Elephant Institute, and that house is rented for the use of the Whole Elephant Institute, and the landlord is the Ren, right? So that was basically all oral, no written documents. But the pandemic started, right? Immediately after the pandemic started, Dr. Jian Xinbao suddenly having trouble about paying rent. And then he starting to claim that I was, the one responsible for losing the previous rental check, this and that. And eventually he claimed that he wants to directly send the money directly to Darren again. And I said, no, you cannot do that. And then he started to say that if you don't go see a doctor, then I'm no longer donating to you. I immediately see that he's now playing some kind of games, right? So I told him, I said, are you trying to bring damage to Whole Elephant Institute? If you do continue to do this wrong thing, you no longer will be allowed to donate to support the Whole Elephant Institute. So I told Darren, I said, please give back the money of the deposit to Dr. Jian Xinbao and sign a new contract with the Whole Elephant Institute. Cut Dr. Jian Xinbao completely out. Guess what? Darren refused.
Okay.
Yeah. So Darren refused to do the official legal contract with the Whole Elephant Institute, right? So that basically, from that moment on, the legality of the rental was a problem, although I continued to pay the rent. But Darren seems to be hesitant about, the legal relationship between the Whole Elephant and himself. And it is exactly during those periods of time that Grandma started to have influence over the television. The television program started to spread a lot of CCP hate propaganda. And Grandma became totally agitated by the CCP hate propaganda. That was during the Trump election time. And they started to exercise harassment and discrimination to me in the house. Also vaccination issues and the masking issues, and the cleaning of the food issues, and all this associated with the pandemic all become part of the problems. So eventually Grandma was doing so much harassment and troublemaking and make the whole situation very, very hazardous, for my continuation of operation in that place. I decided that it's time to probably find a different location for the office. So I even attempted to find a new office and move out. And Darren and his wife apologized to me and brought grandma in front of me and apologized to me and say, please come back. Okay. So that was basically during the pandemic situation that, I decided to commit to continue to stay there. But the problem continue. Grandma still has issues about Falun Gong, and she continued to have very bad behaviors. And so to one time, the behavior was severe enough that I had to call upon a meeting of the entire home. And I said to Darren and his wife that, grandma and grandpa, influenced by CCP hate propaganda, it's time to let the grandma and grandpa stop, doing wrong things. And that was the evening that Darren's wife not only refused to let the parents rectify the behavior, but asked Darren to initiate legal eviction. Illegal eviction. So what happened is that they found a lawyer, 3 lawyers probably, work on this project, and the lawyer coached them to lie. So the entire legal documents was all lies about I was not paying for the rent, I was harassing them about the Falun Dafa, and they again bring children into the plate, saying that, because I was always there harassing them about Falun Dafa, then the children is not healthy to them, so they want eviction. So that basically was the legal case started. The moment the legal case started, my rent, they refused to accept. And grandma, although he is not the landlord, but he was becoming hateful. The fact that she considered that I'm living there without paying for the rent. So she always treated me with hidden discrimination, harassment, cursing, terrible words, and make my presence in the kitchen impossible, totally hazardous. So eventually, in order to make sure that the children not going to be having wrong ideas, I still decided not to leave. I stationed there. I stay away from the kitchen. Only go to the kitchen to cook a little something in the evening time, for the next day. It's extremely difficult to live there, but I still continue to live there. But they basically in their heart want to do everything they can to kick me out of the house illegally. So I think legally it's called, the landlord is doing something illegal in order to force the tenant to be out of the house. That's pretty much is the true nature of what has happened in that house. And yesterday, what really happened was that I think they played a game. They used a tiny, teeny little issue because the water in the bathroom sink, for some reason, slowed down the drain. And the grandma in the morning started to curse terribly with terrible name calling to accuse that it was me who washed the dishes in the kitchen, in the sink, to cause the slowdown of the water. And I didn't say anything. I basically know grandma has bad temper. If you go answer her cursing, you bring yourself into endless amount of trouble. So I always totally silent towards her abuse. And she was doing abusive things all over my surroundings. Wherever I have my items, she put some garbage on it. I hang clothes, she put some, dirty towels by my clothes. I mean, I went to list it. She tried all possibilities to try to stir up trouble, but I don't respond. I let her do whatever that she wants to do, right? So yesterday, again, the same thing. When she stirred up trouble early in the morning, loudly cursing, false accusing, I didn't say anything. But I could not sleep anymore because she was really a lot of negative energy. I have to do energy work to clean up her negativity. I came out from the house and I meditated in the house, outside of the house. After I finished meditation, I was tired. I didn't sleep all night long. Entered the house, ready to sleep. Darren immediately jumped on me. Lotus, stop using the sink in the bathroom to wash your dishes. You caused the jam. I said, that's only grandma's theory. That's all my response was. We smiled. Darren, it's only grandma's theory, you know. I want to explain to him that's not the case. Because when I wash dishes, because I cannot go down to the kitchen to wash dishes, that's why I had to go to the bathroom to wash dishes. I have my bucket. And I wash dishes in my bucket. And then I dump all the wash water into the toilet. How am I going to cause any jamming up, right? I said, no, it's not. Darren immediately angry, saying that, you're a liar, 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 liar. I give you money, I ask you to leave, you don't want the money, you still are here, your lawyer lied, you're terrible, I cannot trust you, you know, that's words keep on coming out from his mouth. And I said, I told you we should sit down and have a meeting, right, to discuss about what is really going on. When I speak like that, the wife jumped down. You're not allowed to talk to us. Go away. You cannot talk here. I said, well, why I cannot talk? And then she goes, F word, F finger, F words. Mm-hmm. And then Darren jumped at me, says, shut up. You cannot talk here. My father-in-law has heart problem. The father-in-law is always sitting in the living room on the couch. Little Claire was also sitting in the living room in front of the television, all beautifully dressed up, ready to go to a dance class. When I came out from the house to do meditation, little Claire was sitting there nice, peaceful, happy, you know. So suddenly, little Claire sees the mom and dad going crazy towards her beloved auntie. She's emotional. So I think she was crying. I was not wearing my glasses, so I could not see very clearly her face. But absolutely not that she would use a knife to kill herself. That's not true. I didn't see any knife in front of her. Why she's holding a knife in front of the television? Why she's holding a knife in front of the television? She didn't leave her seat and run into the kitchen and grab a knife. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I really, in every regard, I think the mother lied. She made up. Because when I was trying to, you know, I said, you know, it's time for us to have a meeting, and the grandpa, why can we not be like a family? Before we were like a family. What is the problem? I think you were watching too much TV. You know, you are developing negativity towards me, and we should not do that. That's all I was trying to say. And they started to say, shut up, you cannot talk, you're not allowed to talk. So they were like very, very, you know, keep on loud and filming me too. So I was like, this is not correct. So then the grandpa loudly said, call the police. Call the police. So Darren called the police. And so he started to say, she's harassing us. She's harassing us. She doesn't stop talking. She's harassing us. So I was like, I don't have to talk to you. But, you know, this is not correct. So I went upstairs to my room. The police didn't show up yet even. Okay. So I went to the room. I really need to sleep, basically. I didn't sleep the whole night, right? So basically, at that point, it was really late for me. I usually sleep in the morning time. And then finally the police came. I was already changed into my sleeping clothes. You know, wearing my slipper. And the police came, a large group of police came. And ambulance even came. 2 ambulances. I was so surprised. And the police came in and say, what happened? And the mother says, my daughter tried to kill herself because of her, right? So the police then looked at me with very firm look. I said, that's a lie. I didn't do that. Okay? And the police said, come down, and we want to talk to you. So I came down from the stairway, and they asked me to leave the home. I said, I cannot leave the home. I need to have my purse because I have no key. No, you don't need to go back to the house. Do you have another place to go? The police says, do you have another place to go? If you think this house is hazardous, why you are living here? Leave the house, he said. I was like, no, I cannot leave the house. This is my workplace. But we want to check on you. They said, we want to check on you to see whether you are okay. And then little Claire got shipped onto the ambulance. And I saw the mother had a strange, happy look on her face, you know, when she looked at me. And I was like, what's really going on, right? Oh, don't worry, the police says, just follow us. We just want you to talk to the health professional on the ambulance briefly. You are all set. So I thought that's fine, if that's the case, right? So I was wearing my slipper. I was in my sleeping clothes, pretty much, okay? And I had nothing with me, you know? And then so I had my phone with me because I was recording what's going on in the house. So I had my phone with me. I was escorted to the ambulance. The moment I entered the ambulance, the police immediately blocked the exit. Okay? And there was no health profession, it was another police in the ambulance. And the police says, what's your name? What's your birthday? That's pretty much all was asked. There was no health professional to check on me in the ambulance. It was a lie. And I said, what is going on here? We're gonna take you to the hospital. I said, why? Well, we just want to have a doctor check on you. I said, this is not right. You guys are doing things like that. I need to leave, right? The police says, if you're gonna try to leave, we're gonna handcuff you. I said, I need to call. At that time I have the phone, so I called you. I didn't even finish calling, they took my phone away. You cannot have the phone. I said, I want to call my human rights lawyer. No, not allowed. Okay? And then I said, this is not right. I'm leaving, I said. When I was trying to exit the ambulance, they handcuffed me. Forcefully. Immediately, like this. Handcuffed my hands in my back. Treated me like a criminal. And then they used strap to strap me onto the ambulance. Fix me in the ambulance, you see? Then I heard UCAM. And the driver says, we're gonna take her to a hospital, right? And they didn't tell you any hospital's name, right?
Yeah.
I was already locked inside of the ambulance. Certainly at the time I could scream, but probably no use, right? Absolutely no use. So I was basically subject to forced arrest. It's called, legally I think it's called forced arrest, right? And then I was kidnapped by the police. And I said, I need to have my, purse, my ID. No, we don't need your ID, he said. They don't even care who I am. My identity, they don't care. I could be disappeared by them. I said, but I'm also thirsty and I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, basically didn't sleep whole night, harassed early in the morning, got yelled at by Darren, and had to face this false accusation of, causing my most beloved little friends committing suicide, false accusation by the mother, and then got kidnapped and forced arrested by police. Regular people will flip. Absolutely angry and flip, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything. I realized it's a serious problem. I have a battle ahead of me. And I need to save my energy because no sleep, no food, no water. My throat was so dry, even could not, after all that, could not even speak. And I felt I have even difficulty breathing if I become agitated. So I sat down calmly with my 2 hands in my back. And I immediately recited Falun Dafa lecture on Dafa. I recited once and twice and 3 times. My whole system calms down. Okay. And the police saw me being so quiet. He sat down by my side. I turned around. I said, "Officer, can I have some water, please?" "No. You're gonna have to wait until you get into the hospital. Ask the doctor for it." I said, "I'm a mother, and you also have a mother. What if you can think about your mother is sitting next to you in this position? How do you feel, right?" I said, "You are a police officer. You are being paid by the general public's tax dollars. And you're supposed to serve people. And do you think you are serving me today? Is this the proper way? I said, Falun Dafa is a practice I do, and I know 3 words I want to share with you. I said it's called truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, 真善人. "Oh, I know some Chinese," he said. "I know, 你好," So he started to be friendly. Okay. So I discussed, with him. I said, "I want to tell you the truth about what happened today. I already told you that I didn't do anything wrong. They were the one that is doing things that's wrong. So why you are taking me to the hospital? For what reason, right?" "Well, it's just our regular procedure," he says. "This is our regular procedure. That's what we have to do. And you just have to be cooperating. If you don't cooperate, you're going to be in big trouble, right?" So I was like, okay, if that's the case, right? I said, then, I hope we don't have misunderstanding here. I just want to tell you the truth. So eventually, I continued to recite Falun Dafa teachings, and it took us about 30 minutes, I think, more, to enter the Jewish, Long Island Jewish hospital. Okay. So I was still handcuffed. Okay. And I was escorted into the front desk. It's called a behavior crisis center. Basically, it's for severe, mental issues, critical situation, I guess. So I became one of that with handcuff. At the front desk, they treated me with demise. I was like, it was handcuff, wearing a pair of slipper, wearing sleeping clothes. It's the biggest humiliation anybody can receive for a scholar, a mother, I was ordered to sit down, right, with my handcuff. I said, "You can open up my handcuff." "No, not until you see the doctor," they said. So I was still handcuffed. The nurse says, "So, what happened?" she said. I said, "I already told the police officer. Police officer, you tell the nurse what happened, right?" This is what the police officer said. "She is a bipolar patient, has been taking bipolar medication in the past 2 weeks." I was shocked. I said, "Where did you get that from?" He said, "Someone who is very close to you told me that." But he doesn't tell me the name. Well, who is the one always tell everybody that Dr. Wang is a bipolar patient? Dr. Jian Xingbao. No second person can say like that. Okay? So, in any case, that was written into the history. And then I was handcuffed and I was led to see the doctor. And I talked to the young man, who handcuffed me. I said, "No, this time, please, open up my handcuff. He was, another guard says, no, the doctor will open it for you. But that young man, because I talked to him in the van, in the ambulance, for some reason he had some change of mind. He said, yeah, I will open up for you. So he undone the handcuff for me at that time. Then I was led into a deep unit. It's all metal door. You know, it's for crazy people, right? All metal door, no sunlight. It's like deep in the jail. No way of escape. And all my belongings were taken away. Not only all my belongings, but they wanted me to take off my necklace. Even this necklace of gold of Falun, they don't allow me to wear it. They took away everything and then they asked me to strip naked. No clothes that you normal wear are allowed to wear. They want to turn you into a mental patient figure. So I had to change into the mental patient's clothes. The top, front cover, back cover, and the blue pen, and the red socks. Ugly, terrible, So that's the first humiliation step. Go right in as a mental patient. Okay. Then a lady came in. She looks like a mental herself, but she's supposed to be the nurse. You know what the question she asked? Do you hear things? Do you see things? Do you feel you like to hurt other people? Do you think you will hurt other people? Like that. Those are the first questions to me. I was like, absolutely not. Right? Okay, do you have insurance? No, I don't have insurance. If you don't have insurance, we need to apply for Medicaid for you. I said, no, I disagree. I don't need a Medicaid. I said to her, furthermore, I want you to know I'm a Falun Dafa practitioner for my past 18 years. I never have seen a doctor. Okay, I'm totally healthy, right? And we don't believe in medication. And I will never accept any medication, right? Okay. She walked away, right? Here is a cup. Take your urine, right? So went in the bathroom and give them, a sample. Put on the shelf, right? All pretty much rude, right? Okay, and then I was led to a section with the staff member of so-called doctors or assistants. They are totally protected, isolated, right? Inside. And then you have one unit open with a hallway and then some dark little rooms, 4 dark little rooms. And the mental patients were put in the room, right? Or they do have television and people can close the door and sleep, something like that. And I look at it, I was like, I'm not entering those dark room, right? So I saw a bench. So I sat on the bench. And nobody was paying attention to me, basically. And then you have mental patients, other mental patients, so-called mental patients. I look at them, they're just young men and young ladies, totally normal, no mental disease, And the one young man goes, I want to go home, Please let me go. And they were like, oh, okay, the doctor will tell you what to do. Okay, those so-called nurse, and they sit around, and the guards, bodyguards, right? They sit around on their bench and they chat along happily about their family vacation, children's story. I mean, they're not doing work. They're just chatting big time, like happy, superior feeling that they are in charge. You know what I mean? Doctor never show up. And all these people keep on one person in. Very soon probably have about 7 or 8 of them in that whole system, right? Nobody was paying any attention to any of these newcomers. I didn't waste my time. I went in there, I sat myself down. I did my Falun Dafa, sending forth righteous thoughts to clean up, the whole system, right? And then I started to meditate, and I sit in double lotus position, and I recited on Dafa repeatedly, right? And the moment I do that, I heard the nurses start to say, "Is that Tai Chi? What is it?" Right? So I stopped. I said, "It's called a Falun Dafa. Have you guys heard about it?" "No." I said, "It's a very beautiful practice, And they said, "Oh, that's very interesting. We like to learn about it." And one of the nurses says, "Oh, I really want to know where is the website." So I go to her phone. I told her, and she search. And I said, this is audio, this is video, this is books, right? And she read it. She said, "I always want to learn this." She said, "I thank God for sending you here to meet me, to teach me Falun Dafa." That's one nurse. The other nurse also very interested, and then the father says, "I have a daughter, 9-year-old, a 9 months old. Can I send it to your office?" When I introduced to him who I am, my Facebook, my website of the Whole Elephant Institute, he was like, "Wow, this is Dr. Lotus. She's doing great work, Can I visit you? Can I have your phone number?" So I gradually then spent all my time helping the people, the nurse and the guards, learn about Falun Dafa websites, the Whole Elephant websites. So give them some introductions, I go right back into my practice. And then the patients came to me, and I talked to so-called patients. One of them is a Queen's College student. She was heavy. And she looks very, very happy and healthy, but she was just heavy. And she was talking to everybody. Very apparently, she was constantly shipped over there, and everybody knows her. So another lady came in, and the lady started to be rude a little to this, Queen's College student, and she dropped the tears. Now, this is a turning point. As soon as she dropped the tears, she was immediately taken into the dark room. 3 men pressed onto her and did a tranquilizer injection into her. She was screaming, "I don't want it." She got injected and passed out. And the young man who came right after I arrived repeatedly asked, "Why I'm not able to leave? Where is the doctor? I want to go." And he was anxious, walked back and forth, very disappointed. Nobody paid any attention to him. And then another young lady came in, and she was subjected to taking 3 tubes of blood and do the COVID-19 test, and the blood pressure and the cardiovascular checkup, and then also left alone. No doctor. Throughout my 6 hours there, the doctor never showed up for any of this so-called mental patient. Everybody was just left there as if they don't exist. Meanwhile, the nurses, the guards are having a great time talking about their family and their life and happy, and you know what I mean? And then when they see someone cry, they do tranquilizers. So this is the current mental hospital, so-called behavior crisis center, true situation. Meanwhile, I was doing my Falun Dafa exercises non-stop, and nobody came to bother me. And unless they want to ask me about what it is, I will stop practice and tell them about it. So I turn into like a, information provider. And I was practicing until 6 o'clock. That's 6 hours later, right? The doctor suddenly called my name. "Dr. Lotus King Wise." I opened my eyes. He was standing already in front of me. It's an Indian doctor. And he said, only one sentence. "So, are you ready to go home?" I said, "Yes, it is time." And he said, "In the future, don't argue with your landlord." I looked at him with a smile. I said, "That is not the truth. They lied." That's what I told him. The doctor looked at me, and he could see that, I'm very educated. So he said, "I ordered a cab for you. 3 minutes, the cab will be here. That's pretty much the only conversation I had with the doctor, 6 hours being subjected to humiliation, mixed up with the mental patients, but left alone to do Falun Dafa exercise, introducing Falun Dafa. Nobody prohibited me. Everybody loved it, enjoyed it, took the information. I even talked to the doctor. I said, doctor, you saw me doing Falun Dafa exercise. It would be a great practice to offer to the patients here, right? He said, that's not in my domain. That's what he said. That's not in my domain. So I was escorted out from that deep prison unit for the mental patients and walk out, through several metal doors and came out from the building and suddenly see the sunny, beautiful sunlight, a normal, world again open to me. I mean, it was an amazing feeling that I had to go through. I then saw this cab waiting, and the nurse double checked. Is this cab for that patient? She called me patient, right? The cab driver says, no, it's not for your patient. That's very interesting. And then eventually she said, let me look at your book. Then she didn't say anything. She said, it's for you, she said. So God doesn't let her call me patient, you see. I walked into the cab. I sat in the back seat. I called Noah immediately because Noah, when I have the phone opened up at Noah's text messages, Mom, please call me as soon as you get out. So I called Noah and I told Noah what happened. And Noah said that the police called him. And then Dr. Jianxin Bao called him. And Mr. Brian called him. Okay, so he received Dr. Jianxin Bao's call and Mr. Brian's call and the police call. And I said, Dr. Jianxin Bao is making trouble again. He told the police that Mom has been taking bipolar medication and leading the police to treat me like a mental patient. I said, I'm not going to stop suing him this time. It's time for me to take him to court, I said. Noah said, are you sure? I think it's not possible for Jojo. Jojo means uncle, right? It's not possible for Jojo to do that. He also wants you to come out from the unit. I didn't say anything further. I said, I will find out the truth, So what I want to summarize is that when I get to the house and ready to come out, the cab driver said something interesting. The cab driver said, this world we are living in right now is very evil. Good people are suffering. Bad people as if are enjoying their good life. But, he said, guess what? God is watching every one of us. Whoever does evil to other people is going to receive the evil doing they have done. That's what he said. So he said, don't you worry. Just keep up with your good faith. The cab driver said that. So amazing. Yeah, that's the story.